All right, why don't y'all sit down over on that side of the mat and just be still and silent and ready to go. You want to sit down? So why don't we all sit down over there? You got to get close enough so you can hear me. Hi, how's it going? If you can't hear my voice, come closer. Or standing is also fine. That works very well. Why don't why don't y'all come as close to the mat as you can get? Because I think it's going to get harder and harder to hear. So come on up close to the mat. All right. Welcome. Please, please don't tell people to sit on the floor. Let them stand and take care of themselves. Yeah. Yes, you can hand them if you like, but that chair is the great place for them. I'll let them know that they can come to the chair and get it. Okay, are we almost ready? Looks like they're going back out again. It's the real deal. It's the real deal. Yeah, yeah. Sure. Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. These are my kids. This is Houston, who you know. This is Rosalie. Have you met Ron yet? This is the principal, Suda Perez. This is Ron's name. Yeah. And we're about almost ready to go. I think we're going to go ahead and get started since they announced it, I think. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to do it more than once. We'll do more than once. Oh, and let me introduce you over here too. This is Suda Perez. This is the principal at Greiner. This is Miss Paula. This is my mom. Yeah. And, and she graduated from here in '53. Yeah. Oh, did you hear? How does it feel to come back?
Well, this is the different field. I was here before. I can tell you all that before. I was his names, stories. Yeah.
Okay. Everybody come close so you can hear. Everybody come up closer to the mat so you can hear me. Okay, welcome. Welcome. What we're doing here today, we're at a cultural event because Aikido is a Japanese martial art, and the characters that mean Aikido, I means harmony, or can be thought about as peace. Ki means spirit or energy, and Do means the way. So it's a way of harmonizing energy with somebody else, and since it's a martial art, when they are in conflict with you. Does that make sense? All martial arts, think about, wait a minute, what's it going to be like if somebody attacks me? And they imagine punching and grabbing and kicking and all that sort of thing. And then they decide what they're going to do in response to that. I also add language. So, because most people don't get in fistfights very often, what they really get into is conflict with people that, they're talking about stuff, they're arguing. Right? So, what you do with your body and what you do with your mouth and your brain are all part of the same process. So, we practice all of that stuff. But what you're going to see here is mostly the physical part of Aikido, when someone tries to punch or grab or that sort of thing. And what Aikido does, because it's a jujitsu, is it gets out of the way, takes their balance, and they end up hitting the ground. So you also learn how to fall, how to roll, how to get back up again, so you can go up and down from the floor whenever you need to. Does that make sense so far? So who can tell me what the name of what we do is? Aikido. Awesome. Would everybody say it with me? Aikido? Aikido. Yeah. So it's like karate, but karate's punching and kicking, a Japanese martial art. Aikido is a Japanese martial art that's about helping other people fall down when they try to attack you, basically. Getting out of the way and helping them fall down. So it really works great to be smaller, not as heavy, because usually when someone attacks you, it's because they're bigger. They think they're going to win, right? So someone my size can attack someone smaller than they are, and they can win because what they're really using is balance. So the other person falls down. So instead of hitting them with your fist, which hurts, you hit them with the floor. Does that make sense? Sweet. Has anybody done a martial art before? Which one? Taekwondo. Cool. A lot of punching, a lot of kicking. Awesome. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to turn this around again. This is the guy that founded Aikido. His name is, his family name is Ueshiba, and his first name was Morihei, and he died in April of 1969. But he was a super famous martial artist in Japan. And I'm telling you more about this too because it's a cultural event and we're a Japanese martial art. Any questions so far? So we began offering classes at Greiner every Thursday after school. So if you're a student, you go to the cafeteria. I pick everybody up at 4:15, and we go to train in the old gym. If you're an adult, you just meet us there, 4:15. We start training at 4:30. We train until 5:30, and we're going to do a little bit to start with of what the class looks like, but then we're going to move on pretty quickly so that you'll get a chance to see what some of the techniques look like. And I'll ask you to think about right now, if you're thinking, let's see, what might happen if someone were to attack me? I'm going to ask you later, tell me something that you're imagining. What would it be like if one person attacked another, and then we'll show you what we would do as a result. Does that sound okay? Okay, sweet. Well, you guys come back over here. And what we do is we all bow together, not because it's not worship of any kind, it's bowing together to get so we're all in the same general movement, right? And we're celebrating what Aikido is, which is changing how conflict works so that you don't harm the person who's attacking you. Even somebody who attacks you, you don't harm them. So like a police officer would disarm someone without harming them, like someone in an emergency room who has somebody who's freaking out would be able to calm them down and protect themselves without hurting the other person. That's what Aikido is about. We're going to clap 2 times. 1, 2. Onegaishimasu. And we speak a little bit in Japanese. Onegaishimasu. I said it to them. They say it to me. It just basically means I'm ready or let's go. And we start by stretching a little bit. If anybody would like to stretch with us, right where you are, you can get really big and take up as much space as possible. And you don't have to, of course, because usually we're used to being in this space. And when you are ready to do martial arts, you have to be able to take up a whole bunch of space, but also very little, so that you're focusing on yourself and not on anybody else, so you're not distracted. Really big, really small. And then we're going to leave these on the mat, and we're going to shoot our legs out really wide. Right. And then a lot of what we're working with is balance the whole time. So we want to be able to balance under any circumstances. And we're stretching our bodies, and we're also feeling how they work. And knees down. And then everybody on your belly, and take your legs behind you. We're stretching our backs. We're stretching our arms, our shoulders, back and forth. On your backs, and float up. We're also doing everything from our midsection. So we get really strong and can do whatever we want with our arms and our legs without having to worry about being able to keep ourselves in structure. Yeah? Everybody squish your toes. Squish your toes and sit flat. Here's another Japanese moment. When you sit flat with your feet underneath you, it's called seiza. And people in Japan sit like this all the time. Tea, eating, whatever. And then you can squish your toes, and that's called kiza when you're about to stand up. And then you can also sit with your knees really wide. When someone's trying to push you over, this makes it harder for them to do that. And this is called heiza. Right? sitting like a warrior. Everybody up. After we warm up a little bit, we then learn to roll. So everybody come to this side. And very slowly, when you want to roll from standing up, stay right where you are. You want to be able to go all the way to the ground and stand up again without it being a problem. So different than a somersault, which is flat across your shoulders, you land on your spine, we put our head to the side and then put ourselves back together on the other side. So everyone's going to roll all the way across the mat, and they're going to get to the other side, and then they're going to roll backwards, which is the same process. One across and one back. Onegaishimasu. All the way back. Relax and breathe. So what happens when you're in a fight is that your habits take over. Everybody has a plan about how they're going to do until they get hit or whatever, and then the plan goes away all of a sudden. So what we're doing is we're giving our body new habits. So when I fall down, I don't do this, I do this. And it's a very different habit than this to this. And so we do it over and over and over and over again, so it happens without us having to think about it. Everybody up? Then, why don't you guys come around behind me right here and face that way? And then we practice, and you can practice this with us if you would like, if you want to stand up, is we practice how to move without leaning over. So we lift up through the top of our head, and our chin comes down a little bit, like we're looking straight out, and then we move our feet without moving our center. And then we'll go to the side. And then we go directly in and directly out, because all of our techniques are based on moving our body while someone else is attached to us. So it's really hard to control us and really easy for us to take people off balance. Does that make sense so far? Anybody got any questions yet? Okay. Then we attach someone else to us. Would you please choose a partner? And we're going to go up and down this way, and we're going to do Tai no Henko. So we're not defending ourselves, we're practicing something really slowly over and over again so we can do it fast later. In my mind, I'm thinking, what if somebody grabs me? I don't want to do this, and I don't want them to pull me forward. I want to be able to move so that they fall over. And everybody takes turns, so I know that whatever happens is going to be his turn next. So I think about him, and we train all the time really thoroughly with great energy, but never trying to hurt the other person. Because later, our techniques are going to really work against someone who's attacking us, not because we're trying to hurt them, but because we're absolutely confident in where we're going, and our habits are good. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. So think of a situation in which you imagine somebody attacking somebody else. And I got to say this right now. Please don't do this yourself without some instruction, right? Some people see this and they're like, and they go home and they grab their sister and they're like, no, that's not what we're talking about. Please don't do that. So give me an example of what might happen in an attack. Anybody? What might happen if one person were to attack another person? What might happen? Describe it to me. We got plenty of time. Just think about it for a second. No pressure.
It's just like
a back and forth. But what happens though? Describe what happens with hands and feet and stuff. What do? Whole lot of punching. Okay. So first example, will you all go and sit right over there, please?
Hi.
The first example is they will probably put their hands up, right? You've seen people start to fight, and they're the other person. Anybody watching knows what's coming, right? What does the martial artist do in this circumstance? I'm going to listen with my body to what he's really doing. I'm paying attention to his feet, his whole body. And I want, for an Aikidoist, I don't want to exchange blows. I want the very first thing to be the last thing. Does that make sense? So when he starts to punch, I'm interested in him being on the floor as soon as possible. And since we always take turns, right? Then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to hit him, and he's going to do the same thing. And we do that over and over and over again, so that your first reaction when someone tries to hit you is not, oh no, it's, and you're immediately finding a place for them to land. Does that make sense? From the back. Would you guys, will one of you come and grab me from behind, please? What kind of grab from behind? Like this? Like that. Excellent. Will you grab me around the neck? Reach around with your arm like you're going to choke. Like that? Yeah. When someone grabs you from behind, they're often pulling back. Right? And so what the job is to put your hand on their arm and pull down. And then you move your body backwards, and then they're off balance. And then you have various options. Does that make sense? And what I like to do is I like to go into the arm. Does that make sense? So if I grab her from behind and I'm bigger than she is, can you do the thing that I just did to you? She's going to pull down, and then she's going to move into me. Right? And then she's going to go into the arm. And there's all kinds of options from here. She can go down, or she can go up. And someone who doesn't know how to roll goes flat. In general, if you think someone's going to grab you from behind, it's really good to get your hand up inside it as well so that it doesn't get into the choke position, because what they're really trying to do is cut off the blood to your head. So a hand inside works really well if you can get it up there. But what we're doing all the time is we're working with their balance. Yeah. Is there another example?
How do you respond to an attacker who tries to open up the kick?
Who tries to open up the kick? Well, in general, I go out of range of the kick or right into the body as fast as possible. Would you like to see?
Oh, I like it too.
Absolutely. Will you please have a seat? Thank you. All right. Yes? Sweet. That's the early response. No danger, right? So come up and make contact. Okay, one more time. So then at the end, there's various ways to keep the person from getting back up again. Yeah. Sweet. So we're up high, and they're going to go low. Okay? Do you want to be the one to fall down, or you want to be the one to...
I'll go fall down. I have no clue.
Okay. So we're up here, and then he goes low.
You shoot like a boxer.
Yeah. Yeah. So the job is, in Japanese, the distance between people, the word is ma'ai. And so you're constantly soft focusing. I'm not going to look right at you. I'm just going to see everything I can see. And when the person moves, I just move with them. So it looks a little bit like a dance. And the job is floor, 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 floor. And to be honest, if they get you and you fall down, Aikido is not great about groundwork. If somebody really tackles you and you fall all the way to the ground, that's a way more advanced technique, and usually you don't learn groundwork in Aikido until much later. Yeah. There's another kind of jiu-jitsu called Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is all about one-on-one, like cage matches and things like that. But Aikido is great with multiple people attacking and staying on your feet. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is really good about one-on-one, where someone's available, is really good at tackling and bringing you down.
So I was so glad. I was saying to myself, I wish y'all had this when my son was here, and even when I was here back in the day.
Yeah.
So look, do they do the dips here, or is that another level?
Yeah. No, I promote. Yes, I have an international black belt. I promote all the way to upper level black belts. Yeah, got it. Yeah, what I have over here what I have over here is a piece of paper that has more information about it. Would anyone like to ask one more question or something like that before we end? Because we're going to bow out and end the demonstration and then let some folks come in and go out again. Yes, sir.
How would you respond to an arm attack?
With a weapon?
Yes.
Well,
Either like a stick or
which weapon would you like? Yeah. Okay. Well, the first thing is, if it's a gun, the answer is yes, sir. Yes. You give them your wallet, you give them whatever, right? In general, when someone is going to attack you and they deployed a knife, they already know that if it doesn't work out well for them, they're going at least to jail, possibly to the hospital, that sort of thing. So the stakes go way up. And when it's an actual knife, you assume that you're going to get cut and that there's going to be blood because that's just what happens. So you try to present the parts of your body that don't bleed as much, the back of your arm rather than the inside. You don't want them to get anywhere around here. So you have your hands out, you turn them over like that, and then when they decide what they're going to do, you respond specifically to what's going to happen with the knife. So, what kind of attack did you have in mind? Just a thrust? Okay. Remember that one I did before? That one works pretty well for that. I'm not going to cut this time. That was just habit. Does that make sense? Yeah. And there's lots of other techniques that go low to high, that go inside, that go outside. And the job is to account for the weapon, but to deal with their balance all the time. So you account for it, you fix it somewhere, but what you're really doing is you're throwing their body the whole time because that's a much better surface to land them on than this is. Yeah. Thank you for your questions. We're going to go ahead and bow out, and then we'll ask for some more questions afterwards. But just to formally end, but we're still going to be here. So we'll be here for another. Wait. We're going to bow out. Hang on. Ready? Ready? Domo arigatou gozaimashita. And what we're saying is domo arigatou gozaimashita, which is the formal way of saying, it's like saying thank you very much rather than just thanks. Thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions or you'd like to pose additional scenarios to us, we're happy to have them right now. Thank you for coming. And there's more information. Oh yeah. The dojo Aikido Oak Cliff is year round. Yeah. Okay. And anybody can come take classes with us in our dojo or here on Thursdays. We just basically moved our kids class on Thursdays to the school. But there's Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 2 on Saturday.
But occasionally there's no kids at the kids class because she never goes.
And so it'll be on weekends throughout the week.
It's every week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday here, 2 on Saturday, year round. We take breaks at Christmas and I take a summer break in July usually, but other than that, it's year round.
But they have to be there every day.
They don't. Ideally, people will come once or twice a week. That's what, if you really want to learn it, you come once or twice a week pretty much all the time, like any other sport or anything you really want to learn. But I don't do any contracts. It's only by agreement. And people pay if they can and don't pay if they can't. No one ever stops coming because they can't pay. So it's on the student to figure out how to step up. And if they're not ready developmentally to step up and take care of their commitments, that's entirely fine, but they don't advance if they don't show up to train. Even my kids. Yeah. And it's pay what you can. It's a monthly, whatever you can afford, like 20, 50. Most people that come frequently pay $100 a month, like you would for a gym, but that's not required by any means.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming and giving us your time. We appreciate it. Yeah.
But do you speak Japanese?
I do not. Dojo, I count to 100.
Me too.
And we know the names of stuff, body parts, and the sort of random naming conventions of the jujitsus. but no, I don't speak Japanese. I can say I'm so sorry and thank you very much.
I can say I forgot.
How do you say it?
Wasudemashita. The most helpful phrase in the Japanese language. I forgot.
Wasudemasu.
How do you say this? I forgot.
I don't remember.
The best phrase if you don't know
I've been
Japanese.
learning for 3 years, so I've been talking to a lot of Japanese people and stuff. And that's why I'd like to get into a Japanese martial art. Only thing is, I didn't know which one, and I didn't know which place would be the best. Because there are all these, big dojos
Yeah.
where they sell the wrong teacher. But this definitely got me.
Sweet. Well, check us out online. Go to, aikidoocliff.com. Sign the waiver, and as soon as you sign up on anything online, I'll send you an email and tell you where the dojo is. And it's a private dojo, so this is the only place where we're public. In
Okay,
first place.
that's great.
I'm Brandon.
Nice to meet you. I'm
Pleasure.
Dave.
Hope to see you. Love you, Vic.
Well, my teacher had stuff. When I was in California, that's basically what we would do. We would try to punch him. It was only about punching, so we wouldn't take that seriously.